We're 2 minutes behind now. And hello, everybody. It is Tom Chenault, and it's the Tom Chenault Show. I do hope you're having the best day ever. We have got a show for you today. This fresh-faced kid to start is just a beast of a girl. She just called Eric Worre a beast a minute ago, and I thought it was such a term of endearment. I thought I would call her one. Talk about, she's the bathrobe millionaire. And when I met her in Florida at Ray Higdon's event, the absolute energy, the magnetism, the people she was pulling around her, I just couldn't believe my eyes. And I said, I got to find out more about this kid. So I watched her a little bit, found out she's from Canada, a mother, she brought her husband to the event. I mean, everything she was doing perfectly. And then she launched this bathrobe millionaire thing. And I said, we got to get her on the show. So I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Amy Murphy, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Talk about a nice introduction. Woo! Thank you.
A fantastic woman.
Thank you.
You look so much smarter today than you did last week. What happened to you?
I just attended Eric Worre's event, so a little bit more went in this brain.
Can you believe how much you didn't know?
It's funny, you don't know what you don't know until you know what you didn't know.
Amen. And it's also astounding what you do know that you didn't know you knew, but you didn't also know that you could really, really lever that up. And what I love about Beyond Leadership and what Eric does is it's small enough to put a microscope on your strengths and really let you take it to the next level, right?
Absolutely.
How cool is that?
Oh, I'm honestly speechless when I think back, because I just flew back in yesterday. Yeah. And when I think about all that we learned, my book was this thick and there was maybe this many pages left in the notebook I took. I was soaking every last second in. Everything he was saying was golden.
What are you going to do about that pimple right there?
The pimple or the dimple?
Oh, that's not a pimple. That's a dimple. That's a good call. Yeah, that is a real dimple. I don't see many of those. Oh, my eyesight's so bad. You got to be that close for me to be able to see them anymore. But tell me a story. Where'd you come from? I mean, you weren't born a network marketer. How did this all come about?
So as you know, I'm from Canada. I come from my mama up here in Chile, Canada. So I've been in network marketing for 20 years now. And the first 17 years of my journey, I successfully failed at about 10 different companies, never learned how to build a business, never really gave it a chance. I was in and out of companies, like a girl buys new pairs of shoes, right? Like I just never really got the chops, got the grit, built the resilience, all the things that come with it. In and out, never gave it a chance. And then I came across the last company that I was in about maybe 3 years ago. And all of a sudden, I had a mindset shift. There's a long story behind it, but long story short is that I decided to join another company one last time, despite my husband very muchly not supporting me doing this because I failed at everything else. He was like, why are you doing this again? And I said, well, I believe in me. I think I can do this. I know the industry works. I'm going to do it this one last time. I'm going to give it a go and really learn what it means to learn how to be a network marketer. And when I had that mindset shift and I put my gears to, pedal to the metal, I became $1 million earner in 2.5 years. So I'm glad that I didn't listen to my husband, actually.
But he is too.
And he's glad. But actually, do you know what, though? I am thankful, though, for him not believing in me, because he's always believed in me. He's always supported me in everything I've done. We've been together since 1995. So we've been together for a really long time. And he's always been my biggest cheerleader. So this one last time I came to him with this kind of proposal, like I'm going to try this again. And he wasn't supportive. It almost drove me to want to prove him wrong. So there was a driving force behind it. And we were unexpectedly pregnant with our third child. So finances weren't exactly where we wanted it to be. It wasn't in the plans. And there was more of a mindset shift of, I want to contribute. I want to show what I'm made of. I know I can do this. I know it's here. I'm going to do it. And I did it.
Wow. And now you're here. Now you're standing here right now. Did you retire him, or is he still doing his job?
He doesn't really work. He hasn't worked there in about 1.5 years.
Okay, good. So what does he do all day long?
He helps a lot. He helped because I'm so busy right now. Actually, he took the kids up to soccer, up to the playground. He's going to take them to VR, have some fun with them. So he really helps me with the children. he plays dad role a lot. He organizes a lot of the trips. I am the worst. I'm a hot mess, usually 24/7, like truth be told. Like I did my hair for you guys. Usually it's not done. I operate like a hot mess. So he's there to literally help me out, books the flights, tells me where I need to be, does the taxes. I spend the money. He kind of organizes where it all goes. Like he
That's very, very cool. One thing, Denise and I did the same thing. I mean, being a couple in the same household in network marketing is challenging in its own right. And the fact that you two were so doggone happy when I saw you down in Florida inspired me, because it's hard. And what Denise and I did was we just made a list of everything we love to do, and we made a list of what we don't love to do. And then we compared the list, and everything that we both loved, I gave to her. So both of us had these two tremendous things that we both love to do, and everything we don't love to do, we wrote down and turned that into a job description for a personal assistant. We hired Marianne. So now Marianne loves to do what she does. Denise loves to do what she does, and I'd love to do what I do. And it's one big happy partnership, not family, because Marianne, we've tried to get her to move in with us, but she won't do it. But at the end of the day, you're 100% right on the money. So what is the millionaire bathrobe millionaire deal?
So the $1 Million Bathrobe stems from my journey in that I became a $1 million earner literally in my bathrobe. When I was building my business, I was pregnant with 2 other kids running around, hot mess mama, glasses on. I since got laser surgery, but I had glasses on, hair a mess, and it was literally, that is how I built my business, being authentically myself. And it actually, I have to give kudos to Ray Higdon, because he's the one that, like, my journey was my own journey, but he actually was the one to make me think about my journey and be proud of it. Because I remember introducing myself to him, and I was reluctant to share with him about my past failures. I wanted to introduce myself, him thinking, oh, she's a $1 million earner, great, and think, oh, wow, and be wowed by that. But when I shared with him the 17 years of struggle before, he was so like, what? That's amazing. He was actually more impressed with my past failures and everything I endured, and that, never giving up and that mindset shift. He was really impressed by that. And he told me I need to embrace that. That's what people will relate to, because a lot of people go through, those ups and the downs and the failures and the mindset. And so he kind of helped bring that out of me. And I didn't realize that I was actually building a brand while I was doing it. It wasn't intentional, me going live every day in my bathrobe. I had an infant, during the journey, and I'd nurse her live, I'd be talking, all of a sudden she was crying. I stick her on my boob and I'm feeding her and I'm talking to Facebook, and everyone got to know my left boob. Really well.
That's so exciting.
It was just me being me, and I started to develop a brand around it, and I didn't even know I was doing it. And so when I hit the $1 million in my bathrobe, it just kind of dawned on me, like, the $1 million bathrobe. And I wanted to create something that was more than just that, because a lot of people ask me, okay, you had all these failures and then you had your success. What was that middle part? What was that secret sauce that changed? What changed this time? And a lot of it was that mindset. And so I created the $1 Million Bathrobe to talk about, I share a lot of my past journey in it, about the self-esteem issues from when I was younger. And I share that journey in the bathrobe, and I bring it into the brand. So a lot of it is mindset coaching and connecting with a life that you love, loving your life, being on purpose, being authentic, creating genuine relationships. When you're living true to who you are and what you're meant to do, the world is literally your oyster. It will open up for you, versus if you're trying to be something that you think people want you to see, like actually opening up and living your journey and being true. And so the bathrobe brand encompasses all of that and more, but that's basically kind of what it came from.
How do they find this bathrobe brand?
If you want to go to www.milliondollarbathrobe.com, you can find out the purpose and the mission and what it all encompasses there.
And that is inclusive to only your company, or can just like all
It's
walks of
totally
life.
generic. It's not for, it's not even network marketing specific. It can be for anybody, you know, the mindset shift. My story is my story. And of course, it's through network marketing is my story.
Sure.
But what my mindset shift and the purpose and the passion behind the $1 Million Bathrobe, it can be for any business.
Righto. So, what else do I want to know? Okay, so what keeps you relevant? I mean, you're a $1 million earner. Have you dealt with being a flash in the pan? Are you doing everything you can to avoid that real problem in network marketing where people hit that pinnacle and then they're gone and never seen again? You are improving your skills daily because you know getting there is one thing, staying there is another, right?
Right. So I like to always be learning. I never stop learning. Hence, I was just at an Eric Worre event because I always want to sharpen my skills as a leader for the company I'm in, but also sharpen my skills and my own self-worth and my own self-development. So, which also helps the $1 Million Bathrobe as well. So I don't like to think of myself as being a flash in the pan or a rising star. I just like to think that I'm living my journey authentically to what I'm loving and what I'm driven to share and what I feel I'm on this earth to do. And if people follow at a minimal scale, that I'm happy to serve that amount. But if it reaches the grand scale, then I'm happy to serve those as well. So whoever I can serve, I'm happy.
We're going to take a break. We have to take a commercial. We're on the Genesis Communication Network. Thank you, Ted Anderson, for letting us have this radio show for so many years all over the world. We love you, but we really love little Amy Murphy. She is much older than she looks, as you can tell, and she is the real her, which I love. We'll be back right after this. And we're back. Okay, now we take a commercial, which is 10 times more fun than anything. And you remember Adrian, don't you?
Yes!
Isn't he adorable?
So cute.
You guys are the same age. And this poor kid rode a bus. I put on Facebook that if you want to see me, nobody ever comes to see me. I put that up. I put it up for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want everybody to know where I am, but really I want to know where I am so I'm not thinking around I can sneak a drink or do anything goofy. So I do that to make myself accountable. But this kid took the bait. His name is Jordan Thomas. He's an aspiring songwriter. He's loves Jesus. He's an identical twin. He is just a beautiful kid who I love. Right, Jordan? You got to talk. This is a radio show, so talk loud. Yeah, they can hear you.
It's a blessing to be here. I've been listening. I'm excited too. I've been listening to your journey. I just subscribed to your website too.
Good.
I'm curious to know what it's about.
Oh, good. So he just subscribed to your website. He's a sweet kid. He's very, very nervous. And I told him, if I were him, if I were 22 years old, I'd be a contact mapper. I would be learning everything I can about everybody. He's a shy kid. And I told him, and he's so nice. He loves his mom's boyfriend. They're in a credit repair deal. I said I'd help them. And it's all about contribution. Unless you're Adrian, and then Adrian, who knows? I think he's just in it for the money. What's up?
So, Tom, how did you learn all this about this guy? I mean, it seems like you know his life story.
I interviewed him. He didn't. And then right in the middle of the breakfast, I said, "What do you know about me, Jordan?" He goes, "Nothing." I go, He goes, "I'm a good listener." I said, "It's great to be a good listener, but you got to ask questions." It's like it takes. We had a very slow dance, or didn't we?
Yeah, we do.
He's adorable. I love the kid. Very fun time. And that's exactly what I want. This is my tribe. Jordan is my tribe. He is a great young man. So Adrian, contact mapping, talk about it a little bit. I used up your whole ad. We'll come back at the half hour.
Gracious. It's terrible. All right. So contact mapping is the way that you take a really cool young man like Jordan and you know his life story backwards and forwards, and you figure out how you are going to be able to serve him and how the world might be a better place if you two could work together in some way. And the key to that whole thing is getting out of your own head, getting out of your own agenda, getting out of your own way long enough to really learn somebody's story. And it's so fun when you discover the magic of doing that. because it's just way more fun to be somebody who lives from a place of contribution and from a place of serving others. And the world just has a great way of making it work out well for everybody when you do that. And so how you learn to do that in a really easy, simple way is this thing called the Coffee Shop Interview. And we are going to give that to you for free. So you are going to go to contactmapping.com/CSI for Coffee Shop Interview, and you're going to download that and you're going to love it. So check it out, contactmapping.com/CSI. Back to you, Tom.
All right. So Jordan, in the whole deal with Jordan, it was so adorable. And in the Contact Mapping newsletter, if you'll subscribe to that, you'll see Adrian's got 8 more questions that are over and above the Coffee Shop Interview that are absolute rock solid for starting conversation. But I think I'm going to wait until we come back and try to talk to Amy about this, because I know what her shift was. She might not even know what her shift was. So hang on for 5 seconds. And we are back. It is the Tom Chenault Show. We're here with Amy Murphy on the Genesis Communication Network, and she is just such a complete and total little naked rock star. Can't believe the girl comes to work every day in her bathrobe. It's extraordinary. And I want to talk about that for a second. I don't even have any idea why I'm going down this track.
I'm scared.
No, it's nothing to be scared about. Here's the deal.
Okay.
It isn't your new company that was the differentiator. It wasn't a new product that was the differentiator. What changed was your attitude toward Amy Murphy, where you learned the skills over those 17 years. But then you got into that radical self-inquiry called, who is Amy Murphy? And then you said, I am going to go out and find a tribe that loves me just the way I am, instead of me trying to be like Marina Wari, Jesse Lee Ward, and the rest of those other rock stars in their own right that are also their true selves, but they aren't you. That's what happened. Did you realize that's what you did?
Now that you say it, now I do.
Yeah, that's what you did.
You're right.
You discovered your best self, and once that self-esteem completely went out the window, that issue, and now you love who's looking back at you in the mirror, and you are attracting people who trust you, that you trust, that you feel safe with, that feel safe with you, that love you, that you love, and they know they belong all the time. And that's your little bathrobe tribe. And the West, there's plenty of those people, and the rest of the world be damned. That's who you're attracting, because that's who you vibrate with, right?
Right. It's true.
You're a genius.
Yes, I'm a genius. It was all on purpose.
Isn't that exciting?
But you know what was on purpose? Like you said, me finally saying, you know what, this is me. I'm showing up to do this. I want to prove something to myself, to the world, to my husband. I had something to prove. I was on a mission, and I took all of that self-esteem out. You know, I didn't love going. I saw pretty girls online all the time, and I would love to get all done up and look pretty, you know, but I didn't have the time to do it. But I had a message I had to share. So I said, you know what? It's okay. People will love me regardless if I have messy hair or I'm in my bathrobe. And I love that the bathrobe kind of represents that, you know, universal uniform. You can take all of this off, but what's in your heart, what's in your mind, what's in your soul, that's what shines through. That's what I love about that.
Oh, I love that about you. And teaching people that comparison with looks or anything is a sickness that has completely come across this country with primarily younger women, you know, that at age 13, 14, 15, they have to fit in no matter at all costs. And you're breaking that, and you're creating people that love and live from the inside out instead of the outside in. And I believe truly, I mean, when I asked you to be on this show, it wasn't an accident. I checked you out from stem to stern, just because I wanted to make sure you were the type of person that I thought with my eyes. But I am telling you, you are changing lives out there, Amy, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that.
True story. You got like 2 minutes. What do you want to say to people? Are you coaching people? You're inspiring people? You're trying to attract people? Tell me a story.
So I don't personally people, I like to just inspire people. So I don't take clients on like that. I have my business that I do, and I train within my tribe, like social media tips that I'm learning. And, I coach my team like that. But the Million Dollar Bathrobe is the new brand that I'm building apart from, it's kind of in conjunction with, but it's apart from, the network marketing. And that's another tribe of, it could be all in the same. It's just people that want to feel they belong somewhere, that are looking to connect, looking to really help work on, the self-esteem is huge, because that was my big thing growing up. Before I still am, but I was in the acting world. I do TV and film and modeling. And I always felt that I always had to get the next biggest role to feel successful, or I had to get the next modeling campaign to feel successful. It was very outward, that outward kind of reflection that I thought I had to do. But when I finally learned to strip all the outside stuff off and really dig deep into myself, who am I and what do I want? That's when true success started actually flourishing for me. And I know a lot of people have those same kind of self-esteem issues too. I felt like the ugly duckling growing up. I always did. People say to me, "What? You were so cute. Like, what do you mean?" But I didn't feel it. And I thought that I had to get recognition by looking the prettiest and having the best roles and trying to live that kind of world. And then I realized that's not the case. And so people can come to the Million Dollar Bathrobe, subscribe to the blog. I have a journey that I share there, all kinds of journey stuff and self-reflection, all on the blog. And I have the newsletter. And I do, if people want me to come speak to their companies or their, whatever it is, if you want to have a team hoorah, I'll come speak. So I do public speaking. I'm launching that as like a public speaking platform to help speak and impact. I want to impact more people. And, while I absolutely love my network marketing business, I love that, and I can impact people through that. But I feel that I can, through the Bathrobe brand, impact even more people.
Okay, Amy, I love you. We are going to let you go. We're going to bring on Rob Sperry. We got Lauren LaHave next week. I'm the luckiest man in the world knowing a woman like you, and I love you, and I'll do anything I can to help you out. You keep us posted, and you need to double that income like Eric said. So we'll see you later. Hug that lucky husband. We'll see you before you know it.
Okay, love you. Bye.
All right, we're back. Hello. Okay, so Amy, contact mapping. You talked about being a hot mess. You talked about the fact that you are everywhere but where you want to be with your follow-up and all that stuff. What do you use? I mean, how do you stay on top of it? Do you believe in it at all? Do you believe in like follow up and be in your word and calling people back when they say, what's going on with that? I don't even understand how you live your life like that. Your husband cannot keep you on that track. My wife would kill me.
It's so funny because I am legit. If you saw my organization, it would it's an OCD person's nightmare. My husband is like, I don't understand you. Contact mapping literally is amazing. It is genius. I'm a traditional pen and paper person. If you saw my book, I have I just started this book. Anyways, you don't even want to know what I do. I do follow up with people. I have a little hot mess system that I've gotten to know and love. I don't even want to share because you'd probably laugh at me.
I guarantee we would, but you know what? No one can argue your success. You are amazing, and that's all that it matters.
But I need systems, and I learned from Eric this weekend that business is systems, and I've truly been operating off of passion and charisma, and that's not always duplicatable. So I need systems. If I want to go next level, I need to implement systems, and I need to duplicate those systems if I want to go next level with my team. Just throwing that out there.
Adrian, what do you think of that?
I think you said something really powerful there, which is that, we create systems around our personality type, around what works for us. And that's great. And don't mess with your success. But then part of leveling up as a leader is, how do you then take the good parts of your system that might have worked for you, but maybe are unique to your personality, and how do you repackage that in a way that you can say anybody can do this? You don't have you know, you don't have to be my whatever personality type. You don't have to be my level of crazy commitment or crazy whatever. Like, this is something that reduces to the least common denominator that works. And so I think that's an important ingredient to anything, and certainly to helping your people to duplicate the way they build relationships, is you've got to give them a track to run on that's going to work for as many people as possible, and not one that's just so customized to your personality type. So I think you're totally on the right track in thinking about those ideas as you come out of this thing with Eric. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, right? Like, you know, you watch Tom Chenault and you're like, this guy is insane. Like, you know, he's putting his phone number on Facebook. He's doing all the crazy, you know, he does all these crazy things, and that's great, but that's not everybody. But how do you distill out of that the things that everyone should do, that everyone can do, package those together and say, no matter what your personality type is, this is going to work for you. And you just got to figure out what your habit system is around that. That's what we have tried to do with contact mapping. And I think that's really the secret to it, is that leaders can use it to create leverage in their organization, because it's something that's not so customized to just the way that they did it with duct tape and bubble gum, right?
You're bang on. I think you're absolutely right with that.
Okay, so Eric and Ray and me and Rob will all tell you the same thing. If it won't duplicate, don't do it. It won't duplicate. And you are a hot mess. So am I. I am a train wreck on wheels. And everybody wants to be you. But the name of the game, if you don't have a way for them to actually have a shot at that, you got problems, especially in a huge organization. I've got a huge organization that completely has a life of its own as a result of putting in systems and letting it be that, because it had to be Tom Chenault proof, because if it would have been like me, it would have gone nowhere. And that's the big difference. And that's where you hit the nail on the head. And Eric, God bless him, caught you at exactly the right time, because you just went crazy with that charisma like me all the way to here. But all of a sudden you're standing here and you're going, okay, I got to take this up, and I don't have any more buttons on the elevator. Eric gave you those buttons on the elevator this weekend, and Ray, and that's the miracle of it all, Amy. And we're so very proud of you, because you're like our hero. So, all right. So Sperry, get ready, Mr.
Why do you have me follow after Amy? Like, that's not fair, right? I got to hang out with her in Vegas at the GoPro, and it's like, after I felt like I was on fire for a month, and then, you know, just kind of went like this after.
Yeah.
Like, and now it's coming back up, but the difference is I got to follow in her footsteps. Like, why do you do that to me, Tom? You always throw me under the bus, man.
You're completely hosed, to be honest with you. You haven't got a prayer.
I know. I know.
Yeah, so we're planning on that. Okay, 5 seconds.
Cough drops, though. Those will help me out.
5 seconds coming to you, Rob. Amy, bye-bye.
Bye.
And we are back. It is Tom Chenault. I was leaning over the shoulder of Jordan Thomas, this kid who is such a great kid. I'm going to put up his song that he wrote into the comments here shortly, so you can all hear it and you can listen to this guy. He rode a bus, a train, an Uber, and a cab to get to visit with me today, and it was cute. We went over to Denny's, and it was just a pancake moment. So here we are. We're back on the air. We're on the Genesis Communication Network. We're with the great Rob Sperry. I'll tell you what, I love this guy. I am telling you, he has made it in the business. And when he got done making it in the business, he said, you know what, there's more to do. And he went out and has changed the world with his whole greatest networker deal. Unbelievable job, Rob Sperry. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. It's always fun. Thanks for having me on again. I think I made the cut. I feel like I don't know what else to do. This is my third or fourth time on here. And I thought after the first time, there's no way. Either you ran out of people, or maybe you just want to coach me to do better. But I'm always honored when I'm on. You're one of the greats. I mean, I remember I did an event in Australia, and you and Adrian right away were just like, yeah, we're going to go there. We're going to support you. You call me every couple of weeks and you say, how can I help you? How can I support you? And you're one of the few people, I feel like I'm a giver, and I'm always like, how can I help? You're the one of the few people that make me feel uncomfortable, because you're out giving, out asking, right? Always on your way to your meetings in the morning, and then crossing the railroad tracks and different things. giving me a call. So I just appreciate you and what you do for this wonderful profession. And you're always focused on helping people out as human beings first and foremost, which I think is the business behind the business, right? It's got to be bigger than just network marketing. So I don't know what direction we're going today, but let's have some fun.
What I think I'm attracted to you, why I'm attracted to you, is because you're a thought leader in this profession. You take this profession extremely seriously. You've kind of partnered up with a bunch of really, really big people, including Fraser Brooks over in Europe. And you're just making a serious difference out there in the world of network marketing with integrity, yet people still able to step on the gas pedal and go build something. And I love that about you. I love your challenges. I love the deal you're going to go do in Hawaii. I mean, you are stepping it up, Rob, all the time. I have nothing but admiration for the way you're building your brand. And I love your heart, and I love your core values towards your family, the whole shooting match. What do you think's going on out there? How are you making an impact in the way that the network marketing profession is rolling right now?
I think it comes back to we have the same principles and philosophies of, I know we hear it in cliches or just timeless principles, and we hear them over and over, and we're like, yeah, but what does that really mean? Literally, it's just go provide crazy amounts of value. If you go ask Fraser, he'll tell you he provides more value than anyone else. Free value, right? You go ask Eric, he's going to tell you the same thing. You go ask me, I'm going to tell you the same thing. Like literally, it's just when you look at between my free Facebook group where there's a post every single day, between my business page, my personal profile, blogging, right? I'm starting a podcast next week, which I haven't, this is the first time I even said anything about it, but starting that, like you start looking at hundreds, probably 500 plus videos. You start looking at that was all free, value. I think it was a year and a half ago, I did 100 trainings for free within 2.5 months for leaders. And I lost my voice. So then I had to learn a little bit of leverage and start doing them for higher level leaders and organizations so I could have greater impact, right? Without losing that voice. And so I did it recently, probably like 4 months ago. I did it for 40 different 6- and 7-figure earners. And so literally it's just that. I wrote a book. Books, you know, aren't huge money makers. They're expensive business cards. I wrote a book, value. And guess what? As I started providing value, I actually got a lot better. I got better at communication. I got better at all of that. So I think that's the biggest thing is people hear that, but they don't actually do it enough. They don't focus on providing value to the marketplace. They focus on, right, take. What are you going to give me? There's nothing wrong with gaining, right? But if you focus on giving value, you'll gain more.
Okay, so here's where I find you to be a little bit different from that crowd out there, is that almost everything you do is based in integrity, where you won't even I'm around a board where I get to watch the watchdogs watching your board, and you just refuse to let anybody into the space that's trying to trick the profession. And you're absolutely adamant about stopping the product claims and the income claims. Where did that come from? Why are you living in that space you're almost like a dooley or somebody like that? You are like serious about it. You guys wanted to block a post by an icon a few days ago because he just put up his personal Facebook, like his name.com. And I thought, man alive, that is taking it to a completely different level. But you've got a motive to your madness. What's going on there? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, I call it the credibility code. I remember a guy that's made over $100 million, and he asked me this question. He said he was taught this valuable lesson when he was younger. And he said, what? He said, builds confidence. What builds credibility for you that's really going to take you to the next level? And I give all these random answers. And he said, wrong. He said, do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And he said, the world will change for you. And it sounds so stupid and so simple, but very few do it. And so for me, I've just always challenged, like if I create something, why I create it, if I need to change it. But once it's set, it's set. people know that they can trust me. I know I can trust myself, and very few people even trust themselves. How are other people supposed to trust you if you can't even trust yourself? So for me, I've never cared how big a leader is or isn't. All I do is set something, and that's just who I am. The same thing when I ran a tennis club. I ran a tennis club, and I had this guy, he sold a company called Vivens for over $1 billion, and he wanted to get a specific tennis time, and I couldn't give it to him. So they threatened to get me fired from the tennis club, and I said, fine, you can get me fired, but these are the bylaws that are set. I'm not going to change them. Like, I'm okay to be flexible on principles, but I'm not going to cater to that. And I've never done that. Sometimes it causes me problems, as you know, Tom. But that's my goal. My goal is always just to make it where people know that when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick to it. You know, you can trust me. You know, my word is my bond. I mean, you and I talked about this privately a long time ago when I was trying to create a cell, right, for a company. And I'm like, if I create a cell for a company, I'm like, I'm not taking any private positions or anything. Anything I do, the world's going to know what I do or don't do, because that's just how I operate. And you're just like, wow, that's just how I am.
Well, you know, nobody trusts anybody in this profession. And I think you've earned the trust of the profession as a result of the way you've carried yourself. And I appreciate that more than you're ever going to want to know, because it's hard. I mean, it's a small club of people that are really taking this thing and training generically without an agenda, other people's people. And everybody goes, well, I want to train my people myself, and I don't want them going to outside trainers like Rob Sperry. And I just want to say, well, yeah, unfortunately, you need to, because you can't do what Sperry can. I, Tom Chenault, can't do what Sperry can. I can't do what Fraser Brooks does. I can't do what Ray and Eric do. I can't do what Mark J does. I'm a pretty damn good me, but I'm a terrible you guys, and at least I'm smart enough to realize it. But I'm also not an idiot and going to subject my crew to people that are going to steal them. And you guys have done a beautiful job. So thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. And one thing I just did actually today is I just referred one of my top 3 clients to another coach. People are like, what? I'm like, yeah, I said, you should get personal coaching from this coach. And people think I'm crazy, but honestly, if you really focus on other people and actually really have an abundance mentality, and you really focus on getting them the best results, I promise you, will help you out in your business, help you out in your life. If you really do that. I mean, my daughter, she's got her main coach in tennis, but even still, she gets private tennis lessons from other people every so often, because sometimes you just need a different perspective. So I just said this to this one gal who's a top leader in her company, making over $70,000 a month. I'm like, look, I think you should go get some coaching. Brian Fryer, I said, I think you should go get some private coaching from him for the next 3 months. She's like, are you serious? She's like, I cannot even believe that. She signed up today.
Good for you, Rob. Living in a world of scarcity is crazy. The profession. Okay, let's just keep going down that track. Where's the future of it going, Rob? Are you scared of anything out there? Are you feeling good about what's happening? Are the income claims? I see this one guy that just made $169,000 in his first month, and I about threw up in my mouth. And because they're still getting away with that. A couple of the CBD companies and that woman that runs that one talking about making $3 million a month. I don't think that does any of us any good, whether they're making it or not, whether they did it or didn't do it. I still think it just is preposterous that people feel it necessary to say that garbage. What do you think?
Well, I think what you focus on is who you're going to attract and who bring people in. And so if you're bringing people in based on just the timing, you're going to lose them when the timing leaves, because momentum is momentum. Momentum is never going to last. Even the best companies in the world, non-network marketing, right? It doesn't last. It goes up and then it's going to come down, be stagnant, and go back up. And so when you're attracting people just focusing on the timing, which a lot of times is the hype, then be careful. I mean, we saw it, right? I can give the example. We saw it with Monavie. They attracted a lot of people because of hype, right? Went up to $900 million. But what happens the second the timing leaves? All those same people are going to jump to the next ship because of timing in another company, right? And the company went down to $200 million. Luckily, they created a merger, and a lot of those leaders are doing phenomenally now, right, in their new company, in the new merger. So I'm not tearing them down at all. I'm just talking and they would all agree with me. And so I think that's a huge key. I think also social media is the great amplifier. Social media is one of the greatest advantages because we get so much information from other people, but it's also a disadvantage because it's always looking at the new shiny toy, and all we do is see the greatest parts about their company and nothing else. So we think, what's wrong with me, right? And so I think there's more jumping because of social media, even though your success can be also enhanced because of social media. So every strength has an equal and opposite weakness that we need to make sure we're aware of. So I would train your teams to make sure that they follow one or two people that they're implementing, right? Not too many voices. So that's all I would say is, and even if that's not me, if you say like, look, I'll use Rob to validate, but here's my main voice I listen to, and Rob's not it. And so if he validates anything I'm doing, then great. Maybe it's not me. I don't care who it is. I'm just saying you can't climb Mount Everest 6 different ways. You're going to figure out one way. Otherwise you're up, down, up, down, up, down. You'll never make it. And there's too much confusion with.
All right, let's take a break. This is Rob, the man Sperry. You want to follow this guy. You want to be in his stuff. 99% of it costs you not a nickel. Great guy. Trust him in the profession. We'll be back right after this on the Genesis Communication Network. And we're back. Hello, Rob. Hello, Adrian. So don't forget.
Hello. Hey, Rob.
What's up, Adrian? Were we hanging out in Europe too? We hung out in Australia, Vegas, Texas. I mean, all over the world.
Are you going to Fraser's event?
Yeah, I went last year, and he's coming to Maui this year for my mastermind. So we did a swap. So I'm going to his, he's going to mine.
Are you going to Europe, Adrian?
I don't know.
We'll see.
I got to run that one past the wifey still.
Tom's trying to hard close you right now.
I know, right? Put me on the spot here.
While we're live, smart man,
That's
smart
right.
man. He's a closer. Coffee's for closers.
So here's the thing about Rob Sperry, Adrian. He's the epitome of the follow-up. Every time I call him, he is on top of it. He we never waste any words. He knows he's always on task. I know I'm on a call list of his because there's a routine to it. I love the guy, and he's the quintessential contact mapper.
He's the real deal.
Well, the irony is
I love about Rob
I wrote about it actually in my book before you guys had it.
Yeah.
So I write about how every time I would meet someone, I would create different lists, and I would say like NM for network marketing. And then sometimes I would put NM leader, and I put it in my book. Now I just need to update my book and put contact mapping in it. And then I would put the date when I met them. I would put things about them. This is all in the game of networking. I would put like, okay, kids or common interests. And then I would put a reminder in my phone. Let's say they said no about the business. Well, last thing you want to do is be that person that a year later, hey, dude, you said no. Do you want to join my business right now? Like, those people are so annoyed. All you need to do is, you don't even need to build rapport and chit chat and spend hours. All you need to do is send a simple text like 2-3 months later. That's it. It takes 2 seconds. It's being a good freaking human being. And then when you reach out back later, it makes a huge difference. And so I was doing contact mapping, right, before I even knew about contact mapping. And now it's just organized and structured.
This sounds a little bit like a request for an override, Adrian.
I mean,
No, it's so funny.
I didn't want to say it. I was just kind of just like throwing it out there.
You're like the Al Gore of contact mapping. Rob, you're incredible. You invented it. But no, you hooked me up really early on when we were first working on this. You hooked me up with Rob when I was brand new to the whole space. And Rob said it even back then. He said, this is in my book. This is so aligned with who I am. I want to support you however I can. And that has been just, and you've been a gift, and you've been so generous to us every step of the way. But what I love about what you said just then is it's so easy to just be a normal human being versus being some agendaed, call them back in a year and ask them the same question you asked a year ago, hoping for a different answer. And the miracle is when you just show up as a normal human being. I cannot believe how often it happens that they go, I can't believe you called me. I was going to call you today, and I do want to join your thing or do whatever. And they weren't going to call you today, but they did. They were wishing you would call them, and somehow you did. And that's just the miracle of how powerful it is to know somebody's story well enough to follow up with them in a true, authentic, friendly way instead of some BS agenda way, right?
100%. No, I mean, it just organizes how to be a good freaking human being, right? Like we get scattered when we go. I mean, I put in what I've always done for the last 11 years is I've reached out to over 300 people every single month. And some people are like, that's wasting time. 300 people, that's less than 10 people a day. And with audio, you can do it literally in less than 5 minutes. And that's it. I don't chit chat. I find some sort of point of reference, whether it's a new contact or someone I've spoken to in the last 2 months. That was one of my top tips I was the #1 recruiter out of Million distributors. And that was one of my top tips of what I did. And people are like, that takes so long. It doesn't take that long. It literally took me a couple minutes every single day. And by doing that consistently, it helped me out because I'm naturally an introvert. So for me, it scared the crap out of me, like cold contacting and all that stuff. So I'm like, anyone I meet, I'm like, I got to put them in, right? I got to put them in like my phone. I got to keep good notes because I'm like, I'm the guy with the hoodie, the sunglasses like the Unabomber, the headphones on. I'm like, don't you dare make eye contact with me on the airplane. I'm the guy that I throw in fake coughs if I have to, if you extroverts like Tom Chenault are trying to talk to me on the airplane. I know that's wrong, but I do it.
So here's the deal. You know, those stupid things that you always send me, those voice notes. I did not know I was in a 10-call roll, you know, where you just record because you don't have to talk.
You're on the list, Tom. You're on the list.
That doesn't even count, you guys. Those little, that's about like getting a text message from me, I guess. So, yeah, I guess there's thought behind it. But, yeah, I get those from Rob all the time. Rob sends me those things and somebody else. Oh, Jeff Roberti and Jeff Weisberg. 3 people I have in my life that have mastered those recording deals, and you never talk to them. You know, you get to, you know, right when the recording ends, I just get ready to talk and I have to look down at my phone and realize it's a recording again, and we go from there. So no. So Adrian, you stay with us for the rest of this show. That's all there is to it. This would be totally boring with just Rob and I. So at the end of the day, so Rob, what do you want to get across to people? How do you want to sell them something? How do you attract people? What do you want? What's your mission in life, and what can we do to help you get there from here? Just like Amy Murphy.
Yeah, I love this profession and what it can do for people. First thing I want people to know is my mentor told me when I started network marketing, it's going to be the hardest thing you're ever going to do in your life. And I appreciated that because it didn't make it sound easy, right? Everything worthwhile is something. Everything worthwhile is always going to be something that's really hard, right? As you go, everything. Think about that. For me, I'm married. I love my wife to death. You've met my wife several times, Tom, Adrian. Like, you know, she's 10 million times better than me. You're the one that said, am I watching like Beauty and the Beast movie? I remember you saying that to me, and I pretended like I wasn't offended. It hurt me. I may have been crying inside, not outside, but I was crying inside.
It was awesome.
It was true. That's probably why it hurt. But guess what? As good as my marriage is, and it's freaking amazing, it's way harder than I thought it was going to be. I was one of those crazy people who's going to have 6 or 7 kids till I had 1 kid, and I'm like, holy crap, this is way harder than I thought. But I love my kids. I got 4. And it's the same thing in network marketing. I want people to realize that if you were to list out right now, list out what's your dream job or dream business. Don't even think network marketing. People list out time freedom, financial freedom. I want to be my own boss. I want to be able to travel the world or spend time and memories. They're basically listing network marketing done right. Now, done wrong, it's your biggest nightmare, but done right, it's your biggest. And there's so many leaders that can teach you how to do it the right way. And so that's my goal, is to convey that you don't have to be part of the NFL, the No Friends League, the all-exclusive No Friends Left club. You can actually use things like contact mapping and be a real good freaking human being and still make great money. It's not easy, but I promise you it's 100% worth it. And so that for me is what I want to convey. I want to convey to people that they don't have to be, you know, those annoying type people that probably turn them off to network marketing. You can actually be a good freaking human being and have fun, because done right, it is your greatest dream. And I absolutely love it. So back to Beauty and Beast. Do you remember making that comment? I think you made it in Amsterdam about 2 years ago.
You brought your wife to an event in a swimming suit. You deserved it. Go ahead. So you teed that joke up. I even had time to think it over. Adrian, you're muted. But no, I am telling you, this is Rob Sperry. This is, the great news about him is what you see is what you get. And he's got the experience. He's built the big organization. He knows, Amy Murphy's going to go through some real growth now because she's got a huge organization and she wants to maintain that income and maybe double it. It's a whole different ballgame. Making $1 million is hard. Keeping it every year after year after year. My accountant just wrote me a note and says your income went down. And I went, whoa, didn't realize that. Maybe it went down by 100,000 or so. I don't have any idea. But this business is this, and this. But you better have things in place to keep that income growing and going. It is not just recruit every day anymore. It's a whole different ballgame. Adrian, go ahead and say something. I know you're smarter than me.
I just want to say that what Rob teaches and who he is, and I love the fact that you're a proud introvert, Rob, because I think watching the way an introvert goes about this business, you actually think about how the steps go in a really clear way that I think it makes it easy for people to follow. And so if you're brand new to network marketing, if you've been in network marketing for a while and you're trying to figure out how to play bigger, I learn so much from Rob, but I learned something that I can go and put into action right away. And I love that about you. And I just think you teach the right things and you teach it from the right heart, the right place of heart. And that combination, you can't beat that.
So Rob, what website, where do you want people to go to find you?
You can go to www.robsperry.com. On there, I've got a free ebook. I've got all these free infographics for social media content, headlines, tons and tons of content to help you out to build your business. So go to robsperry.com, check it out. And you can always find me on social media. I'll make sometimes valuable posts, sometimes posts that are annoying, sometimes posts that will hopefully make you laugh and spit out your coffee. That's the goal. A little bit of everything, right? You just got to mix it up. Like, did you see my insight? I'm such an idiot. The post that I made yesterday, it took me 10 years to realize that when my wife says it's fine, every time she says it's fine and adds another fine means it's less fine. Why don't people tell you that when you get married? Why does it take me 10 years to learn that she says it's fine? When she says it 3 or 4 times, it's like alert, 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 like get out.
I think it was Amy. Somebody tagged their husband like immediately in that post, and I just was rolling on the floor. I think it was Amy that did it too. I got to go back and look now.
That's funny. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Lauren LaHave next week. It's the Tom Chenault Show on the Genesis Communication Network. All right, we're back. Oh no, don't leave, Rob. Stick around. You don't not look at him. He's already got his phone out to go do more of those voice things. Turn Amy on. So put your robe on, Amy. Yeah, so
put your robe on.
So but there she is. Woo! All right, good. So we're still on Facebook. We're just not on the radio anymore. So that's pretty cool. So that radio show goes out to 550 stations, which is all over the world, and that's a pretty cool deal on Saturday. So these are the commercials. So this is all clipped out, so you don't have to worry about anything here. You can even cuss if you want to, Rob, because I know you cuss a lot more.
All the time, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Amy, you are.
Hear some daggums on here.
Yeah, too many.
And Rob, that was me who tagged him in your thing. Cause like, it's fine, so it's fine. All the time, I say to Tim, it's fine.
My wife says it to me. Like, I saw a shirt that the other day that had that, and because I've been joking around with my wife about it the last year, I'm like, I need to go buy that shirt for her. There's something like it's making fun of. It's fine, and then it's got like parentheses. I'm like, so I gotta go get that shirt for her.
How long have you been married to her?
16 years.
That's a lot. And you've been married how long, Aim?
17.
But you've known him how long?
Since 1995, so 26 years we've been together.
Wow. My goodness gracious. Wow. Well, that's a testament to it, you guys. I mean, that's everyone. And that, Adrian's, how long have you been married? 10 years now, Aid?
11.
11. Crazy. All right. Well, you kids keep it up. I really love you, and I appreciate you coming on. I'm in California. My poor guy here, he doesn't have any idea. All he didn't even know he was walking into me, much less a radio show. But, it took a lot of guts for him to jump on a bus, leave his house, come over here. He works at is it a fabric store?
Yeah, Joanne's. I like to follow, by the way. I've been listening.
Yeah, and you loved it, right?
Yeah, this is very informative.
And tell them what you do.
I got the app too, contact mapping.
Okay, well, go to the network. Go to Rob. You got to find Rob Sperry and
did.
Amy. All right. So we got 1 follower out of the deal, kids. So it's a pretty good day. Well, I love you guys with all of my heart. Everybody have a phenomenal day, and we'll catch you all next week. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Amy.
Thanks.